Greg, we're live again at Omega Pacific here.
Again.
Well, not again, but live again in San Francisco, but also at Omega Pacific.
This time.
That's right. With MJ Paul.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. This is brought to you by This Travel is running around Northern California to see lighting distributors. A lot of lighting distributors out here, dude.
There are.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, we've had some fun. We met a lot of cool people. And it's brought to you by the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. That, we're going back to that old tagline, Greg, where lighting means business. We got to go back. I mean, I don't want to change all the, imagine changing everything.
It makes sense, though. That's what a lot of this is about, and a lot of our discussions
where lighting means
about.
business, dude. And where we sell light bulbs, and that's what it's about. So, folks, go to naild.org. That's nailed.org for information about joining NAILD and about information about educational programs, our conference, a convention, and all that other stuff. MJ, how's it going?
Very well.
Thanks for taking the time to
Welcome to
talk with us.
California.
Yeah, what a great spot, man. California is a unique thing, actually.
How's that?
We've talked to a lot of people about, kind of California is like, they like to experiment on themselves.
I think a lot of the things that start here in California tend to move across the country.
Yeah.
Title 24, Title 20.
If take that mic and put it a little bit higher. Yeah,
if they make sense.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is it? And I think that's what the experimentation part
If they make sense, yeah.
Is you guys are figuring it out, and then, okay, this makes sense. Now we'll start moving.
Let's
You're
extend
good.
out a little bit more.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good now. Yeah, I just needed a little bit crisper there.
All right.
Yes, it's like Ontario is like that so California is the sixth biggest economy in the world.
Right.
So America, China, Japan, Germany, Italy, France, California, Canada, whatever, something like that. Like it's depending on the value of the Canadian dollar might be a little bigger than California. Like it's a monster economy.
Sure.
And they like to do things their own way, but in some ways it's like they're like the person that does all the leadership or does all the early adopting and pays for all the lessons that everybody in America has to learn. But Californians are kind of weirdly, perversely proud of that.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we like leading that charge and being at that forefront of energy savings, doing the right thing.
Progressiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's get after it.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a real spirit of adventure in California or something like that. People want to, okay, if we need this, let's go do it then. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that in California, whereas in other places, and Ontario has a little bit of that in it, like for Canada, but not the way California does. But yeah, so that's been a theme here. But then there's also the politics of that. Some of the problems I don't know if it's going to be a problem here, but with PG&E, I don't know if that's a sensitive topic for you.
No.
But like every distributor we talk to is like, oh my God, they took these rebate programs and it was just a disaster.
Yeah. And pretty much those rebates, I know you guys have talked about rebates on some of your past podcasts, and rebates really aren't too much of a story anymore. A lot of that has been passed on, and I actually just looked into rebates for a customer recently. It was like a $13 payback per fixture. It was almost not even worth the effort of going through it. But you're right. California, PG&E, SMUD, even those Southern California providers really led that, and that's what the DLC came from, was a lot of those guys looking for some guidance of how to be able to offer these rebates properly and make a difference with them. Right.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because California is also leading the way in the sort of ending the rebates in a way too.
I think you're right.
So like I mean Ontario's had rebates contiguously since 2001. Like continuously.
Now, when you say Ontario, I think Ontario, California, but you're
Ontario, Canada. I'm from Toronto. I'm from Toronto, right?
I got that. Maybe.
Right? Yeah. So sorry about that, folks. If you haven't watched yet, I'm a Canadian, so I get to say whatever I want about America. I get to dance around all the issues so beautifully. It's great. I love it. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, we've had it continuous. We had pre-LED incentives that I was rocking and rolling with till about 2014, 15, even like high efficiency fluorescent. And then so I'm a rebate addict. I'm a one. I'll stand up. I'll put my hand up. My name is Michael Colligan, and I'm addicted to rebates.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I can see the end. I see the writing on the wall for it, which is why I'm going on tour with this, because I need other sources of income.
But it's also created a lot of complexity. Adding these layers of regulations and environmental compliance has created a lot of complexity and a lot of confusion in the marketplace of what should I buy, what shouldn't I buy, are things offshore, acceptable, and a lot of the things offshore are becoming much more higher quality, and it's becoming a big issue for American suppliers. But we are sort of at Omega Pacific trying to take that complexity and simplify it. And a lot of you probably
simplify it for your customers.
That's right.
Yes, like you guys are going to handle the complexity.
Hey, just call us and we make it simple for you from beginning to end. And I know there's McAdams ellipses and there's CRI and so many things. And don't worry about that. Call us and we'll take care of it. A lot of our competitors, maybe other distributors, electrical distributors that you visited, are pretty good at conduit and data and a little bit of lighting.
Yeah, some of them sell light bulbs.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong. That needs to be like that. We were at North Bay Lighting. What was it?
North Bay Lighting.
North Bay Lighting.
Okay.
Light bulb store.
Okay.
You go in there, you buy light bulbs.
Right.
That's needed. People need a place to buy light bulbs. Sure. The guy's got every light bulb under the sun.
Somebody who knows the difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. This is what you need. And we can get you that weird MBT 2.5, whatever it is you need, right? You can source it for you.
So a lot of people think, oh, LEDs, it's just simple. I just go by, and then they get into it. And it's like, whoa, this is a lot more complex than I had anticipated, especially when you're talking about commercial and institutional spaces. Sure. And that's where we are trying to differentiate ourselves is not selling conduit, not selling meters, not selling all those electrical parts. In fact, we've totally rebranded our company as purely a lighting supplier.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you an electrical?
We were an electrical supply house before.
No longer.
No longer. We really just focus on lighting and LED lighting. And that's kind of where we're getting back to our core. This is where our expertise is. And the company has really been focused on
more
lighting.
Comfortable there.
More comfortable there. We feel like we have a lot of experience in the Bay Area. We've lit SFO, the new tower. We do all the color lighting for the dome at City Hall, which is.
Let me ask you. So, are you when you're positioning yourself there, you're selling products though? At the end, that's how you make your money.
I'm selling a service,
right? But are you charging for the service, or are you charging for the products?
I'm charging for the product,
right? So you're a distributor.
Yeah,
you're value-added distributor.
That's right.
Right. So what you're doing is positioning yourself as like, okay, make the Omega Pacific choice instead of the XYZ other company choice, because with it comes this professionalism, this lighting knowledge. That's a real nail. That's a lot of nail. I'm not quite. I have two different companies, but a lot of nailed guys are like that. That idea of, you know what, it's not just about selling whatever the customer wants. It's about advising with the product.
How long have you guys been in business?
We've been in business for 30 years,
Ooh.
but we consider ourselves a 30-year startup. So we have a pretty...
Don't get all California.
I know. Apple's still a startup, right? Yeah. But no, the company has gone through some phases. The company was originally owned by a former Raider.
Oh, really?
A lineman on the Oakland Raiders. His name was Todd Lewis. And
Scotty, you got to search up Todd Lewis. Throw a picture of Todd Lewis up while we're talking, okay,
Paul?
Paul?
Find a picture of him, and he was a magnanimous man, 6'5".
Yeah,
everyone
did what they were told.
Plus. Yeah. If he told you to do something, you pretty much did it. And he and his mom pretty much started the company in 1990 or 1989. Okay. And he unfortunately passed away unexpectedly about a year and a half ago. So new investors came and bought the company from his widow, and those investors hired me as an LED expert to take the company to that next level and refocus us back on lighting, but bring that expertise in rather than just being a transactional distributor. Give me your order and all.
I was talking about it this morning with another distributor that we were meeting with, and we were talking about, if you do 20 million of electrical supplies, like pipe and wire, you're not making that much money.
Right.
Like those guys aren't putting big margins, and no matter what pipe you buy, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but it has to be made to exactly the same specifications.
And it's purely a daily
commodity
thing.
Your quote is good for 3 hours.
Right. My brother's in the metal stud business.
Sure, same thing.
And I said, well, do you go in and sell on features? He said, no, we all have to be the same.
Yeah.
So it's purely a price transactional. And I don't know, I can't make can't make relationships
Yeah.
by, giving you a new price, that was different from 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
So that's why I was excited to come to Omega Pacific, is we can make that connection.
So
It's
the
more
business
than
has been there 30
transactional.
years. How long have you been here?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
So you just got parachuted in recently.
Just parachuted.
So what's your background?
20 years at Hubble Lighting. So
Okay.
purely more on the spec side.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my first foray.
Well, Hubble's a
into
major
distribution
lighting
side.
company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Like
I was
that's
with
a
20
household.
years.
That might be the only household brand left.
With the original name, you're talking
Hubble.
Yeah.
Like contiguously owned.
The Harvey Hubble family
Yeah.
still owns.
Do they? I think it might be the last one.
You're right.
Anyway, the
That's
last
interesting,
household
yeah.
lighting name is Hubble.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were there for how long?
20 years.
So you went through fluorescent, high efficiency fluorescent and all that.
Well, when I started, the
Pulse start metal or ceramic
the new
metal halide?
technology was compact fluorescent.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. It was
Getting
hot
hot.
stuff. Right. So no, I've seen that transition. Yeah, we were making fun of mercury vapor back in
screw mercury
1992.
vapor,
Right.
You know what, man? I still sell a ton of mercury vapors.
I still think it might be making a comeback. Yeah.
Low pressure sodiums, dude. I weird stuff up all these mines in Canada.
Yeah.
Up north, low pressure sodium's a thing, man. I like it.
We still get orders for it here. I don't know if we're really supposed to be selling that in California.
Yeah, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah. It's not on the internet, right?
No.
But we still do get a lot of requests.
Beep, 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 beep,
Try to
beep.
move.
We still
people
sell
into the
that album.
Right. We do focus on LED lighting, but some of those traditional sources are still
Sure.
needed, and a lot of people don't want to change out the whole fixture. And if I can just
You know
change the
what?
bulb-
There's the mining kit. So what's interesting is a town in Ontario called Sudbury. Okay, and I think the deepest hole in the world is in Sudbury.
Okay.
Okay, like it's a nickel
You
mine.
know this?
No, it's like an asteroid smashed into it.
Oh.
Like whatever 4 million years ago or
Really?
whatever it was, and then there's a nickel mine there, and I think it's the deepest hole in the world. Like Shaft 6 is the deepest hole into the crust of the earth, or it's third or something like that, right? It's also where this is hilarious. You ready for this one? It's also where the remittance center is for the Canada Revenue Agency.
The biggest hole.
The biggest hole in the world.
As it should be.
But in those deep mines, it's really hot down there. Like at the ceiling where they're carving it out. And you get 50 C. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, buddy. Don't try. Like 45 C. HBS, low pressure sodium, mercury vapor. Guess what, man? With the remote ballast on the wall down.
Oh, right.
It's the only way you can do it. Sometimes, yeah.
That's a piece of electronics up there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, LEDs aren't going to.
You don't want any fans in them up there. You don't
Right,
want to have
right.
fans blowing across. It's all dusty and all that. So I don't know. There's a future for that technology in very, very niche pockets,
Like the deepest hole in the world.
deepest hole in the world. Scotty, check that
No.
for me, please.
What you guys have 3 locations.
Not even the
Is it
deepest hole
all
in
this
Canada.
area? I know like 2 cities, but
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
okay.
This is our warehouse location. We primarily serve. We have a whole warehouse back here, and we primarily serve the city and county of San Francisco. That's primarily our main customer, is the city and county of San Francisco, and we are the holder of the contract with the city for lamps and ballast and fixtures. So there's 2 other suppliers in town. They are larger electrical houses. We're the only supplier that focuses on lighting to the city and county of San Francisco. And in fact, I was just at a 2-hour meeting with the city this morning. We are a certified LBE. So you know what that means?
Tell me what that is.
That's a local business entity.
Okay.
And so that gives us
that's
preference in the city when it comes to bidding on projects. And
in the land of the free and the home of the brave, eh?
Is that something? Is this an American
I
thing?
would, you know what? I would say that's a little bit. I would say that is a little bit un-American, actually.
To keep it local.
Yeah, I would say like maybe it's totally American. Like maybe California's leading in that respect, where it's time to go back to local a little bit again. It's time to pay a little bit more to have the people in the chairs 20 minutes away, as opposed to 5 states over. Maybe that's where we need to go.
It's also keeping the money within the San
That's
Francisco
not American.
ecosystem.
That's not American.
I don't know if it is. It might be.
No. That's not American. I'm a Canadian. I can say it from the outside. That's not capitalism.
It isn't. It isn't. And
That's like a form of state capitalism. It's like we're gonna open it up for bid, but only with companies that we like.
Local
with
business.
for
all
whatever the
companies
criteria are.
that serve our constituents.
Yeah, that's
So-
how it's we're about to
It is. It is a
papa.
little bit on the fence, and there's been a few instances as a
Like, I mean, the Justice Department could have an issue with that, with a government entity saying we're only sourcing from people that have businesses within the San Francisco.
well, it's not an
area.
only sourcing. It just
So-
gives you a slight advantage at bid time.
Okay.
So it doesn't really guarantee you the job. It allows you to have a little bit of a bid discount. So,
Sure.
I don't want to confuse your listeners, but if I bid $100,000 on a project, the city actually assumes my bid is only $90,000 because I get a 10% discount.
Mhm.
Even though if I get the job, they write me a check for $100,000.
Sure.
When I bid, they see my bid as 90,000.
Oh.
And so, and if there's other LBs in the city, they would get that same discount
Sure.
as well. But we just competed against a company in Canada, actually,
Okay.
for the headlights of Muni trains. That's our local transportation system.
Is it built by Bombardier?
No, it's another manufacturer that I can't think of at the top. of
Yeah,
my
sure.
head.
Because Bombardier is a Canadian train manufacturer.
Right.
They're
right.
major, like massive company.
This is a company that makes purely lighting for
Yeah,
trains.
okay.
And we partnered with them, and there were other manufacturers, Hitachi and other manufacturers that bid. But since they were all outside of San Francisco, we won the bid because we got a 10% discount
Sure.
off of that, even though we weren't necessarily the lowest bid.
See, we talk about it a lot, lighting if it's regional. And I mean, I think it's always going to stay that way, is it not?
I think so, because
degree.
every region's going to have different requirements.
Yeah.
for
Not only
their
that
lights.
though, but like I read this thing about something about birds circling around some LED lights that were on a football field in Northern California. Was that Northern California? It was in the light read. Scotty, he might come in with that.
Okay.
Hawaii. It was, something to do like the lights were projecting in the wrong direction. They were shooting out, and the birds were being attracted to this one stadium. It was in the light read, and it's like that kind of bird is only nesting in California.
Mm.
Or whatever. It's like you need to be there. There are a lot of local issues. Right. Minnesota and Ontario maybe have a lot in common. He's from Minnesota, I'm from Ontario, in terms of ice and freezing
Sure.
and this kind of stuff. But lighting has been a regional business, and I think it will continue to be a regional
Color
business.
temperature means a lot when it comes to turtle safe areas, and
Well, I take issue with we take issue. Our show takes issue with the term human-centric lighting.
Mm.
We think that term needs to go away. Now, there is a human-centric lighting society, and the guy was on the show with us, and we told him straight up, but we don't like the name of your thing, but I understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But I think that's the wrong approach. For me, I'd like them to be able to know what light actually is. They don't even know what it is yet, eh?
Mm.
Isn't that weird?
That we don't know whether it's a packet or a wave, a packet of energy or a wave of energy. Is that what you're
No,
at
they
that
know
level?
they know like about that, but they don't know what it does and how it works.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you think about there's a nuclear fission or fission reactor that we're spinning around right now.
Right.
That's holding us like in the perfect distance from it. And that's doing it by light. And you're a creature of there's a spiritual element to all this.
No, there is.
Like we're creatures of the light.
We're made of stardust.
Yeah, exactly. We're golden.
Right.
Right. So but I mean there's like an element to light that goes from the practical to the spiritual.
And so
and
you
everything
think
in
that
between.
the term human centric is just a farce because we don't really know what makes human centric lighting? We're guessing at this point.
No, I think there are other life forms that are important too.
Mm.
Animals, not aliens.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Plants,
don't
animals.
think we can discount wildlife.
Well,
I
the
think
IDA does take that into account very significantly.
who does, sorry?
The IDA, the International
So dark sky. Oh yeah, so
Association.
we've talked a lot on this show.
Sure.
Like so we're building a new educational program at NIL. One of the sections is going to be dark sky for distributors, like order desk to dark sky. Not I believe that wasted light at night is hazardous waste.
Sure.
Right? It's not pollution, it's hazardous waste.
Any light going up is completely wasted
Sure.
light. But if you think about IDA, most of these products are over sidewalks, which are typically white or very light gray,
Sure.
typically very reflective.
Yeah.
So none of that is being taken into account either.
Yes.
So just saying that you have a full cutoff fixture doesn't necessarily mean that you're dark sky friendly.
Not only that, though, but I think we have the controls now. Like, it would be interesting because I often tell when I'm talking to my kids about video games, my son or my daughters, about social media. It seems like boys like video games and girls like social media. I don't know, just anecdotal here. But I say to them, the smartest people in the world, unfortunately, are living in California, and we bring them from all over the world. There's a city in Ontario too called Waterloo where they live too. We bring them from all over the world, and they go live in San Francisco, and they spend all day making these games as addictive as possible for you, and they call it engagement. I really wish they would spend all their time making like really wicked Bluetooth mesh networks that we could control our lighting and get these real problems out of the way.
Right.
But we have the technology to do this now, to really do it, to really not human-centric, but make systems that are super smart. And I'm excited to see it, but I think it has to come from the order desk, Greg. I mean, I don't know. Am I pontificating here on the spiritual side of light? But to me, it's got to come from
sky.
Yeah, dude, it's got to come from the order desk.
There's nothing
man.
else regulating it other than maybe a DLC qualification or something like that gives
Even
you
if they do that,
an additional rebate. Yeah, still.
It's got to be lighting guys on order desks saying, "No, man, you got to go dark sky."
Right.
Like you got to make believers. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I'm looking at your brochure here, and one thing I see that I want to talk about, you write one-stop warranty and after-sales support.
Ooh.
Tell me what that means from your standpoint.
Yeah, that means that we're not there to just to sell you something. We're there for the long haul. And some of my best connections started at this job started with a warranty claim.
Yeah.
Where a customer calls and said, "Hey, we bought 63 of these fixtures for you 2 years ago, and we're a hospital, and 2 of them are already out." And he said, "We're in a hospital, and we're concerned that if we get 2 out per month, that in 6 months,
It's mission critical.
In 6 months, this could be a big deal."
Sure.
So I stepped up and went into there, and the first thing the guy is saying was, "We're going to have to get a lift," and I said, "Look, first of all, we're just going to take care of you. There's going to be, it's all under warranty. It's all going to be taken care of." And you could just see him go, "Oh,
take it
okay,
easy."
you're my new lighting guy." And that was at our first meeting. And now I am the primary go-to guy for that hospital. When
it's crazy. In the age of digital, relationships matter more, maybe, eh?
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do differently. When you call one of these bigger houses, you're getting the name, you're getting the lobby and all the accoutrements that come with it. But when it comes down to doing business, you're going to be assigned to a lower level junior person.
Sure.
Right. When you come to Omega Pacific, you're going to deal with the main players, the folks that have been here 20 and 30 years with the company, that know lighting for the Bay Area, and can help you through that process.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Omega Pacific first here: free consultation, layout, direct ordering, product recommendations, photometric studies, site visits, retrofit analysis, energy reduction, lighting controls, factory samples, inventory warehousing, rebate submissions, value engineering, warranty support, recycling centers. It seems to me like what you're trying to do is, offer a turnkey around distribution.
Right.
Like you don't need to go anywhere else. You just need to buy your stuff from Omega Pacific.
Right. And I've even had...
That's an interesting play, dude.
Yeah. I've had major specifiers come in. I've been around in the
spec
side
course.
for
You know the
years,
business.
so I know where the major projects are, and a lot of them, even a lot of the public projects, go through the private process, hiring consultants in the private business. And I've been able to go back to those spec customers and say, "Look, you don't want all these reps calling on you. You don't want everybody trying to sell their line card on you and why you shouldn't buy something from somebody else. You come to me, I can sell you whatever you want. I know all the reps.
Sure.
I know all the designers. Come to me, and I will help.
You're brand
you guide
agnostic. You're solution centric.
That's right.
Brand agnostic.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have a line card I have to sell
sure.
anymore. I can sell you what you want, and I can recommend what I really recommend. For
technology agnostic. When we can keep saying the word agnostic for a while here, but you're bringing your knowledge to the table.
And some credibility and some trust.
Sure.
Some trust that I'm not just going to sell you the product that I have a relationship
How big is
with.
your team? How many people you guys have working here?
I think we're at 9 people at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, a couple people in the warehouse, but some of our inside sales people have been with the company for 20, 25 years, and really know this business. And they're teaching me a lot about this distribution side of the business as well. It's very different from the spec side.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm trying to merge the two and provide that extra expertise that you typically wouldn't get on the distribution side. And so far, it's been well received.
I like this Omega Pacific LED hotline, not a phone number.
It's a hotline. It's a hotline.
Make it easy, baby.
Call the hotline.
I love it. Hotline. Yeah, that's a good one. Get the hotline on it. Oh, man.
So what do you see as when you were at Hubble? Were you based here or were you somewhere else?
I actually was I was the only employee of Prescolite, a downlight manufacturer that was here in the Bay Area, and moved the company to South Carolina to Hubble's new headquarters, I think 2003, 2004.
So you're making HID, that's HID downlights at that time.
HID downlight, compact
fluorescent,
fluorescent, and HID.
Ballasted CFL and HID.
Higher ceilings would be HID.
Big 8-inch with the silver aluminized reflectors.
And those types of things. So I moved to South Carolina, and I lived there for 2 years and realized I was living in the wrong state.
We had to move back.
Kind of a California guy. And the company was great and said, go run Kim lighting and architectural area lighting. So I moved to the outdoor space and moved back to California and worked for another 7 years for Hubble back here in California. Then I became Hubble's rep here in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And did that for 7 years, and now I'm a distributor.
So all of the things you have to do here aren't odd to you or weird. You didn't come from somewhere else, and now you're in California and have to follow all the different rules.
No,
you know the game.
I do.
Get it.
Why does I got to get back to this California thing? It just fascinates me. The Republic of California. They're the only ones that all the states are republics. I think. Aren't they all the Republic of Minnesota?
I'm not sure.
Or is it the corporation in the Minnesota or whatever? There's something about California, like it's even more so. Like you talk about Texas separate. I think California is more independent than any other state.
I would
or they
say
see
so.
themselves as Californians first.
I don't think that's true. No, and I've seen.
I'm on the outside looking in. I'm from the outside, but
when I lived in the South, especially in South Carolina, you were a South Carolina first.
Okay.
And then you were a U.S. resident second, and I didn't sense that when I was in California. We do feel like we're part of the United States.
You're just the leaders.
Yeah, we could say that. I don't. There's no, breakaway.
Sure.
Nothing serious anyway.
No, of course not.
So no, and we feel like the current.
Don't get into it. Don't get into
may
it.
not, last forever.
This is not a political show.
It is not. We're going to talk about religion right after.
Right after this, and then we're talking about sex, religion, sex, politics. Yeah,
it all covered.
It's we put out a tweet in our news brief. Scott, you can see him right there. He's the editor of the news brief. He reads 200 lighting articles a week. He's a saint.
Wow.
Okay, so he knows what's going on in the lighting world. And we do our news brief every Monday morning. He sends out a brief and it's got 30 or 40 articles. Just like he reads them and summarizes them like 1 or 2 lines. And the DOE rollback came out. And so he summarized the New York Times article. I'm sure you know which direction the New York Times went on it, right? We had a massive backlash, right? Because, to be a lighting distributor doesn't mean that you're a Democrat or Republican or otherwise. Sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
We welcome all political backgrounds at the association. You're free to argue about it when you come to the convention, of course. But yeah, so where were we there? Online. You guys have a heavy presence online. Do you sell a lot of orders over the internet?
Not yet. We're actually developing that for the city. The city has requested some sort of marketplace to make it easier for their purchasers.
More like a unique portal for them, though.
That's true. Although we would look to open this up to our greater customer base. But right now, 80% of our business is through the city. So we are focusing on the tools and techniques that they need. But right now, we don't have, it's really more of a personal connection.
Sure.
And we feel that those tools are necessary, but we also have limited resources where we need to pick the right tools at the right time. And that's one of the struggles that we have as being a quote unquote startup distributor. You know, a lot of our competitors have much bigger budgets to put in towards those things. Not a lot of them are really panning out for them and being useful tools that I see customers using on a regular basis. So we're starting at a more basic level, more, feet on the ground, in your face, that type of connection. And then we have a lot of great connections between our internal people and a lot of the purchasers with the city, a lot of contractors in the city. And those are where we do our main transactions is on that level.
Does brand matter right now to the city? Do they specify they need a certain brand, or do you just...
They don't know. We've found that they don't know what they want, and they're looking for somebody like us to be able to give them credible advice that they believe.
Guidance.
Guidance. At least
they love that I don't have factories that I represent that I'm trying to push. Right.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm already coming in with some sort of credibility and one of the first things I say is you'll never get a bill from me for my service.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I'm purely free advice, take it or leave it. And I only make my money if you decide to buy through my supply house. But everything that I'm telling you is purely credibility and with no bias towards a certain product line.
Sorting through the mess.
Okay. So one more question I want to ask you. Okay. Where are you at with the circadian color tuning, health effects, positioning?
I refer to my friend Jim Binya, who
we're going to see him tomorrow.
Oh, will you?
We're having dinner with him tomorrow.
Yeah, he and his wife are pretty much on the forefront of that whole well initiative.
Sure.
And any advice that I need in that area, I turn to Jim and Deborah because they really know their stuff.
What is the nickname we gave Jim? I can't remember now. He's not the Godfather. He's the
freewheeling
Jim Banya. But he's a special guy. Like when you look at his biography and in lighting, we've done 2 with him now, 2 podcasts with Jim.
Have you gotten into his fascinating forensic stories?
You know what? We had dinner with Jim, and we should have recorded the entire dinner. Like we just should have put a microphone on the table.
He's got some great stories.
He's a good guy, and he's had an interesting life. An interesting career, and he's just got story. And the way he's actually a really good storyteller too. I know you're listening to this now, Jim, because you just watched that Get a Grip on Lighting hotline constantly. It's a hotline now. MJ, thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, folks. National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. If you have light bulbs in a warehouse, this is your association. Join us, support us. We're creating educational programs. We're going to get it to the streets. We're coming back to the distributors. We're going on tour, Greggy.
We're continuing it on.
We're on tour. We're on tour.
Keep it rolling.
So we're keeping it rolling. Thank you for listening, folks. And like us on social media. I always forget to say that: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn. Please like us there. And that's Get a Grip on Lighting. Nailed. Me personally, I get my ego boosted a little bit when I see those likes and that. Thanks for listening. Always our pleasure and our honor to serve you.